Hey everybody, it's JC with HangarReady, and we've got a wild crew for this European time zone show. With me tonight are my trusty guys from ADI. Jolly, how you doing this evening?
Great tonight, or today, this afternoon.
Today? Yeah, it's during the day. I know it's shocking. And Turing, how are you doing this evening? Or this afternoon, excuse me.
Yippee-yo, yippee-yay, I'm good.
Good. Nam, how about yourself? How you doing?
Well, until that, I was pretty calm. But I'm doing pretty. I didn't think he would do it. All right, night. I'm doing good.
Good. I think the next one is going to be Shapcap. How are you doing, Shap?
Hey guys, doing well. How's everybody else doing today?
Doing wonderful.
Excellent.
You having a good day?
Great day. Great afternoon.
Good. And then Water Drop. Last but definitely not least, how is it in Europe right now? It looks like cherry blossoms.
I know, right? Hoping for spring. COVID.
You couldn't have picked a, Star Citizen theme background there.
I don't know. It's production values,
It's the new look on
Orson.
Orson.
Working on it. Yeah.
Yes, the new look on Orson. Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, guys.
Well, good day for us here in the States, but we definitely wanted to do something that was, EU focused for our EU members and for people that watch us that can't stay up late at night and watch us on the US time zone. Whoa, something just went wrong.
What's that?
We're back.
Hiccup.
We're back. That was a weird hiccup. Want to drop your XSplits, having some problems there.
Very good.
Okay, stop pressing buttons. Okay, sorry about that. Skype had a hiccup. Well, get off the Skype computer, Sam.
No, I mean Skype as in the company Skype.
Oh, well, that might be the case. So I'm going to introduce our producer and technical director real quick, and they're not going to like it, but they're going to wave at us. Since it's a daytime show, they are here with us in studio, both of them. So, I labeled this episode Is 13 a Lucky Number, since they just released 3.13. And I think we're going to talk a lot about 3.13 today. Jolly, segment one is really straightforward. Let's talk about the mining and refining improvements here in 3.13. And without further ado, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, going off your lead, I do say 13 is a lucky number for mining and refinement improvements. First, it's my opinion that mining is probably the most developed portion of the game so far, with a possible exception of combat, because I do believe CI has put a lot of effort into that. Nice thing is, if you haven't done it yet, go out mining at some point in time in any vehicle you decide, except for FPS mining. You'll find that there's a new optimal range indicator on the upper left-hand corner. Can I get that slide up there, please, Sam? Mining range slide. Not that one. That one. That's where it's located at. Get the next slide, please. Close in a little bit on it. Okay, and hopefully folks can read that out. But the nice thing about this is it shows you first scan a mine, and within range to actually start mining on it. It'll tell you whether you're at insufficient range, sufficient range, or optimal range. And it's a bar that'll increase to the right the closer you get, the better off you are. And so what I do when I do mining now is I jump in there, I turn the laser on 100% if I'm at distance in a decent sized rock. I get closer and closer until I'm at optimal range. It works out really well. I've been very happy with it. That feature is available on the Prospector, the Mole, the Rock, and the Rock DS. But it's not yet on the FPS mining tool. However, I have to note that normally when I do my FPS mining, I'm no more than a foot away anyway, so it really doesn't matter that much in my opinion. A nice thing is there's also a new mining vehicle, the Rock DS. Now, it's a two-person rock miner. I am Evocati, so I had a chance to play with it quite a bit. And what I can tell you is you can't do it solo, all right? I'd say you do it solo, but you can in a mole. Is it that much better than a rock? To be determined. In my opinion, it may be, provided you have a friend or you don't mind spending a little bit of time jumping between seat to seat. It was discarded. It was originally designed way back. It was the original rock. An ISC of inside Star Citizen in summer 2020, the rock and roll was a failed design. This is it right here. This is supposed to be the original rock. Obviously, it didn't quite work out. And one of the reasons they listed why it didn't work out is because it wouldn't fit inside a Cutlass, which most of the developers felt was the core vehicle in order to do some sort of rock mining. And they were right. I try to put the rock inside a cutlass. Nah, no way whatsoever. But so be it. It has the same components as the rock. It's the same Arbor MHV mining laser, same cooler, power plant, and radar. The DSC has, we now believe, according to RSI's website, 4 SKU versus 1 SKU that's on the rock. And I believe that 4-to-1 improvement makes it worthwhile. Originally, just so you know, way back in the Ivacana days, it was 1 SKU versus the rock's 0.8 SKU. I'm not sure that would be worth buying it, but now they've quadrupled the amount of ore you carry. I think it may be worth your time to take a look at it. That was the main difference as far as I was concerned. It's much more stable than the rock was. I tried to turn it over. I ran over rocks that I knew would turn over a ROCK that normally would turn over an ROCE, but in the DS, it wouldn't turn over. As much as I tried, I could never flip the damn thing. However, it has a very poor turning radius, and so if you're trying to get it onto a ship, it may take you a little bit longer, more K turns, to get the thing going. The wheel base means that a cutlass can't carry it, unfortunately. My estimate is a Freelancer Max or bigger or wider can do so. The rock is the basic rock is 3.8 meters wide, as well as the DS is 5 meters wide. Its height is 3.1 meters. The DS is 3.3 meters, which is 8 inches for the Americans that may be watching this. And the length is 5.1 meters, and the DS is 6.6 meters. However, it still fits inside the cutlass with no problem whatsoever. You have a shot of the rock in the cutlass. I believe I posted one earlier to verify that. No worry about it. Go ahead, Jacqueline, take your time. On the positive side, the Rock DS has, don't worry about it, has a laser that can move more than 90 degrees. I'm going to estimate about 100 degrees left and 100 degrees right, as opposed to the Rock, which is pretty limited, maybe 45 degrees left and right. So if you are doing it solo, that means you get yourself in front of the rocks you're trying to mine, get out of the driver's seat, get into the mining seat, and you still hit all the things that are in front of you. So I don't think it's that bad for even solo mining. I think it's better if you have a friend with you, because everything's better with a friend. But if you want to do that, then so be it. The cost we haven't seen yet. As of yesterday, I checked. I haven't seen a cost listed up on it. I'm going to guess $70, $75. The rock goes for 55, so it's not that bad. What do you guys think about the rock itself? Turin?
I don't have the DS, so I have not had an opportunity to mine in it. I went back out and did the rock mining the other day. When it was working, it was it was great. I think they've improved the ability to extract the gems once the rock explodes. They all come down. As long as you don't overcharge it too much and blow them 500 meters away from where you're at, I think it's good. I did have a problem that about halfway through my mining session, the arm itself would stop tracking on me. I wasn't able to track anymore. It would work, but it wouldn't track. But for the little amount of time that I went out and did it, I was making really good money. I used the Nomad versus the Cutlass, since they've worked on fixing the elevator. Now that the rock will sit in there without bouncy fun boom is what it was doing before. So at least
People are coughing now.
I should have done that when Nam was taking a drink. But anyway, it makes working the combo, the Nomad combo, rock combo, viable, I think, now in the future. So yeah, I was doing great. Nam, I don't know if you had any issues with, or I'm sure you tried out the DS.
I did a little bit, mostly during the PTU and mostly just the driving. Hardly did any mining with it. So I was very negative on it at first, provided some feedback, and I'm thinking a lot of us being vocal about it is why they ended up increasing its capacity some, because it didn't have the capacity it does now, and they probably upped the laser power a bit. So it made it a bit more viable to me at that point, make a little more sense, because before I was saying you'd be better off with just 2 rocks if you're going to have 2 people anyway. But that's viable. The issue with it, well, it's not an issue, I guess, with it not being able to be flipped, is a kind of a general issue for vehicles, not just the DS, which might actually be a negative for a lot of the people who are racing, because they can't screw up. They can't screw up and flip the vehicle. They're mostly righting themselves now. So I guess they did that because people were complaining of always flipping over, but I think it's an overcompensation.
Chapcap, what are your thoughts on the Rock DS?
Couple thoughts. I like the idea of the Rock DS. I'm not 100% sold on the practicality of it. For me, when I mine solo, I'll fill a rock up and then just pull everything out of the back of it and put it in a crate in the back of my ship. I don't need a bigger rock because the ship's never that far away from it. So the extra capacity is cool, and I can see it being useful if you're like deep down in a cave somewhere where you can't get your ship close. But I don't know how often we're actually going to see one out in the wild being used. And then just to circle back around on the price, it's $70 war bond, $75 with credit. They also have a pack you can pick up that is a DS, 3 full armor sets, and 3 paint jobs for $100. Seems like a good deal to me. So I scooped that up. I'll probably CCU the rock itself up to something else though.
Should point out that the War Bond one has LTI.
Yeah,
it
does, and the pack, the one in the pack does too, obviously with War Bond. So
great.
Yeah, that's my thoughts.
Waterdrop, what are your thoughts on the Rock DS?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's an option, right? I think the points that were made about the larger cargo capacity, I think that's hopefully significant. It should extend the operating time. Also read in the Q&A, worth mentioning that also once engines require fuel in the game, it's going to have a longer extended operating range also. So I don't know if we're going to get ground locations that you cannot get to by using a ship, because as Chapcap just said, why would I ever want to drive far if I can always go with my ship to my rock? But if that's not the case, then that could become more viable, I guess.
I agree.
I think it's cool.
I think it probably has a niche place. I think that it's a great little thing. I love the multiplayer portions of it. I would prefer to see something that was more side by side, where you were in the cabin together instead of this hanging out and this weird robotic arm turning yourself upside down kind of thing. But otherwise, I like it. I again question just how much more beneficial it would be than carrying just 2 rocks, because any ship that can carry this can pretty much carry 2 rocks. So, but it's a nifty little idea. It's definitely a niche kind of device, and I would probably prefer to be on a rock unless I had somebody with me, and I couldn't man, a mole. Jolly, what do you think about these the changed perishables?
Yeah, the perishables for the mining lasers, which are now called modules, just so you know, they're somewhere now persistent, which means you install them and they're passive, which means you don't turn them on. They'll always be good for you. They tend to be a lot more expensive, but in my opinion, a lot of the perishables are worth spending your time on, as opposed to the active ones, such as the optimal, which is still you have to turn it on. Has a lifespan on it. It'll die off. You got to replace it, but it's far less expensive than one of the passive ones are. One of the new ones that are out there is the filter or FLTR module. It does. If you get up the next to website or slide that shows the FLTR slide, hopefully folks can see that one. But basically, it's a minus 50% extraction speed. To be honest, when it comes to time to extract the rock, it's not a big deal. It goes by pretty quick anyways, as opposed to mining it in the first place. It removes 10% of the inert material, which I think an extra 3.2 STU of value ore inside your ship is worth it. So I'm not worried about it.
Oh, definitely.
It's only worth 6,000. It's only cost 6,000 UVC, but it's persistent, so it's a one-time buy. I think it's a real good spot 3 on your module. If you have a module or a laser that can take 3 of them, I would do so. I think it's worthwhile. There are 2 others that have been added too. The Focus 3, which is again a persistent one. Its resistance is minus 10%. However, instability is plus 4%. It's probably a acceptable trade-off to its ability to crack more massive rocks. It's 40,000 credits though, which is really expensive, but it is persistent. and the Riger C3, which is resistant at plus 6%. It increased the optimal charge window by 10%, and a good pair with the Focus 3, it's 60,000 credits. Now, Turin, you did more mining and refining than I did during the PTU. What do you have to add to all that?
Yeah, so first I would say with the passive modules, they come in 3 sizes each. So like the filter, there's a filter large and a fixed filter XL, and they go up in both ability and price. So the Focus 3 and the Riger 3 are the top of those components. So there's a Focus 1 and a Riger C1 as well, where the actual benefits are a lot less, but it costs a lot less as well. Currently, I was running the Filter XL, the Riger C3, and the Focus 3 with a Helix mining laser, and I was able to get my inert material down to 20%. So now you're looking at being able to fill up an additional 6.4 SCU in your prospector without in actual ore and not inert material. The extraction speed was only less by 30%, and I agree with Jolly that it's almost a blip. You don't even notice it. Instability, by putting the two with the Focus and the Riger together, the instability only went up by 4%, and my resistance on the rock was down 4%. But the big improvement was the optimal charge window went up by 10%. So that increases that green range that you're able to keep the mining laser in. I found that combination for me personally was fantastic because I didn't have to worry about turning a module on, turning a module off while I was mining. And with the combination of that range indicator that Jolly was mentioning earlier, where you're in the optimal range with it, I was and if I'm telling you I'm mining, it's working because Turin doesn't mine. So if I'm mining, trading's busted. So it's just a fact. But I found it very enjoyable and quite profitable. And we'll talk a little bit about the refining method in a little bit. But Water Drop, have you done any mining currently in what's happening?
No, not in 3.13 yet, but I really enjoy the mining gameplay in general. So that's the next on my list to do more of.
Now,
So-
what about you with the mining?
I actually haven't touched on that much in 3.13. Really haven't. I was focused on other things this time.
Yeah. Yep. Jolly, I know you wanted to close in on the. Sorry, Jay.
I'm taking over, damn it.
You're taking
This is the
over.
coup.
Take it over.
Back in your cage there, Turin.
Turn into the coup.
I actually was going to talk about this Reddit page that you wanted us to show, if you don't
okay,
mind.
sure.
And we can get that up full screen and let you talk about what this is. And
Yeah, so
about-
I do, on occasion I do a little bit of data mining, etc. And I found this when I was out searching for a good location for what's the information on mining currently. And this link, it was great. There's actually 2 graphs on here. There should be a ability to flip over to another one that shows the actual refining breakdown and a couple of the other pieces. But that was a really good breakdown of which each one of the modules, what they do, how much they cost, and where you can buy it. Because just like everything pretty much in Star Citizen, not everything is worth not everything is located at every shop that you go to. So shop around and see what you can get. But this was a good combination of stuff, and I think we'll be sending this over to our mining guys as a good template.
Hey, Turin, do you know who made that so we can credit the individual?
It's on the Reddit page.
I posted the link in chat.
Oh.
So
yeah,
I can't
Water
open
Drop
it.
beat me to the link already.
Yeah, so
Um,
Guardian Angel,
Guardian Angel,
it's
yes.
his Reddit page, and it's a really, really good breakdown.
Well done, Guardian Angel. Thank you.
Yep, very good, very good. Shap, do you have any thoughts on mining?
I've tried it a little bit. I used some of the components, the passive components, and they seem to work out okay. The filter did all right. Yeah, that's the extent of my mining. Haven't been able to get a Rock DS to spawn long enough to actually do anything with it yet. So,
Well, I want to
Ouch.
get in and get on a mole here pretty soon, but so far I haven't been able to do that since 3.13 dropped to test it out. So I don't really have anything to add on the new special stuff. But
Oh, you can't put it on a rock. That's kind of a bummer. I was hoping you might be able to put some of that stuff on the rock laser, and
Not
you
yet.
can't. Not yet. Soon to end, maybe.
Hopefully, at least one. It'd be nice to at least have one perishable on or module on a rock. Would be nice. But in general, so Sharon, you're saying is the filter XL, Riger C3, and Focus 3 with a Helix ML is something that folks may want to try out. Those are all passives.
Those are all passives. They are a cost. You'll spend between it probably. I think I spent 160,000. I think it's 160,000, 140,000 all total, which is nothing to sneeze at. But once you get it, you've got it, and you don't have to turn them on. You don't have to do anything. And I think if you're a great miner, if you're out there, taking your time, cracking the rocks, getting the good stuff, you'll make back that money in 2 to 3 runs. So
the final thing is that in the future, the multi-tool still has a battery. As far as I know, it still does nothing. So we'll wait and see what something develops out of that. Jay, back to you.
Well, I think we're actually going to talk about these refining methods, so I was going to toss it right back to you.
All right.
Hot potato.
As far as I know, there are 4 new
yes.
methods that have come out: the XCR reaction, Ferrion exchange, thermonic deposition, and Kaizen winnowing. Kaizen reminds me of Voyager for some reason, something Voyager, but whatever. Anyways, each one, also like the other refining methods that are out there, have a different speed, cost, and yield. What I've found so far, when I went out with I mined a whole bunch of laranite, almost an entire, I think it was 30 SCU of laranite is what it turned out to. I tried the Ferrion exchange, which is listed as low speed, medium cost, high yield, 28 SCU of laranite, I take it back. That cost 9 hours versus 1 day and 4 hours with the Dissonian. So I'd almost like to try that again with the Dissonian, see if I get more than 28 out of it. I have doubts that I would. So that maybe my new favorite one is the Ferrion exchange. Again, Turn, you did more mining and refining than I did. What do you have? Oh, one thing I want to point out, when they list on the, when you pull it up, that's what it reads. They may list high, medium, low, but there are definitely ranges of high, medium, and low. For example, the Dissonian was 1,800 credits if I wanted to. Bear in mind, that particular site I was at was MIC-L1. They were, because it was beginning of the PT when it just 3.13 just dropped. I joined it like 30 minutes after. There was no load on it, so I didn't have any additional charges. But it was 1,800 credits. If I had done, when I did do the Ferrion exchange, it was 3,800 credits. So medium and low has a range. Keep that in mind. So check those out before you go ahead and submit your order itself. I'm going to turn it over to you because I know you did more than I did.
Well, I worked with the XCR reaction refining method, and I would just also add that the ranges are it is a range. Even though some people may think, or put it as high speed, medium cost, high yield, my actual results were more high speed, medium to high cost, and medium yield. I worked with a full prospector. The speed was very quick, 15 to 18 minutes. 18 minutes was the fastest or the longest time it took for me to refine anything. But the cost was anywhere up to 10K to refine a full load, and that was pretty expensive for what I was mining. And the yield, you're going to lose probably 10 SCU, easy, 10 to 12 SCU easy over this method, which was a lot lower than I had hoped it would be. I would also add the Kazon one. I did that one too. The medium, low. I think that's pretty well on for that one as well. If you look at the mining methods by yield, if you're just going by yield, your quick 1, 2, 3 order is Dynex, Ferron, and Pyrometric. Pyrometric is the 3. Those seem to be the highest yield. Just be mindful that some of them have some pretty significant costs too. That's it, John.
Thanks. Shep, you said you didn't get a chance to do much mining, right?
Well, I've actually, it's funny, as soon as I said that, we dumped into this, and I have done a little bit of prospector mining. And I actually had a question about the modules. Can you get all of the modules everywhere? or are there some only at certain places?
There's some only at certain places. So
Okay.
like for the filter XL, you can get, or the filter modules, you can buy the regular one and the large one at Hurl L1, but you have to go, Crew L1, but you got to go to Hurl L1 for the XL. So they're all over the place, just like armor and weapons and etc.
Gotcha. And then from my perspective, when I went to refine, I don't remember the name of it, but I chose the process that was extremely low speed, high yield, low cost.
Dynex,
Because
probably.
whichever one it is, because personally for me at the moment, I don't need the credits immediately. I can let them just bake and come back there. It's
You're
a very,
right,
it's very
you're right,
passionate
Shep.
for me.
But what I found, for example, when I did the Sonian, which I'm with you, I agree. I think it's the best there is. It was 1 day and 4 hours.
Yeah, it was
I
23
tend
hours
to
for me.
play during a certain period of time in a day, Monday to Friday. And 1 day and 4 hours would then put it being done outside of my normal play time. I was really looking for something that was less than 24 hours in order to get I could do my mining, start my refining, do some bounty hunting, something, play whatever I want to do, and then leave the game, come back, normal time I'd log in the next day, and that's ready to go. I can immediately sell at the beginning and go back doing what I do, either more mining or go do some more bounty hunting, whatever the case would be. So that 1 day is really a big deal for me, at least, because I don't change my play times very much.
Yeah, fair enough. I get that. For me, it's more
Jolly.
like I'll come back and get it whenever I want it.
That's fine. It'll be there.
Yeah.
And Jolly, do you find that the cost, even though there is a cost, it's not that bad. It's not that onerous. I mean, you're still going to make money over selling the raw ore.
Yep.
Don't you think? I mean,
Yeah.
so I agree. I think the best thing to do is you can approach the mining or the refining two ways. You can look at it as trying to make a train process while you're playing your play session. So therefore, you want to have it, you want to have it refined as quickly as possible because you're gonna try to churn and burn that, and then eventually load your cargo ship and go sell it before you're done with your play session. Or like most people, you're going to set them all to run while you're offline. And when you come back the next day during your normal playtime, you want them all to be done so you can then go do your cargo run. So I wouldn't say that cost is something you shouldn't look at, but I don't think it's an overwhelming factor as to what is depending on which of the reaction time or the refining methods that you choose.
Yeah, but I overall agree with what Shep said, and that's what I normally do, especially if I'm mining on a Monday and I'm going to wait. I don't mind doing the runs on a Wednesday, what the case would be. Payoff would be a little bit higher for me.
Yep, definitely. So I think we have beaten the mining refinery stuff to death. I unfortunately haven't gotten to do any refinery. I guess that's going to have to be a focus of mine on 3.13 and give it a shot. It sounds like they've now fixed trading as well in 3.13, but I think we'll get to that in a little bit.